All right, hello. Welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all doing well out there. How about that storm? My goodness, the wind was a-blowing last night. I know we lost power in my town and Danvers. I'm not sure what it was like here in Newburyport, but I know it was crazy in Danvers, and a lot of towns had some trees coming down, and the ride to work today was a little bit crazy for me in the morning. We had some flooding and trees down, and I literally had to get out of my car on Route 1 and move a tree away. That's what happens when you go to work at 3 in the morning. You can the crews hadn't got there yet, so I had to move part of a tree away. How about that on the way to work? So kind of an interesting Thursday. Hope you're all doing well out there. I'm going to get right to my guest because it's kind of a fun day to have this guy in. Every day is a fun day to have this guy in. He's one of our favorite guests, one of our favorite musical guests. EJ Ouellette is in the house. EJ, how you doing, my man?
Hey, Drew. How are you?
Good. It's been a little while. How are things?
Good to see you, man.
You have been a busy man. We are Facebook friends. I'm always watching your videos you're posting, and it seems like you have been very busy over the last few months.
Yeah, there's no room for retirement.
You don't strike me as the man who would want to retire.
Why would I want to retire from playing and producing music?
Exactly. You could do it.
I've semi-retired from teaching, but
it beats real work, doesn't it?
I'm going to be a musician when I grow up.
There you go. Did you experience that storm last night?
I did.
We lost through it, or?
Well, we lost electricity at 2:30 a.m. out in Newbury, and I have a generator, and I turned it on for 5 minutes at 9 o'clock, and it came back on again.
Those generators are lifesavers, aren't they?
But I've got these big pine trees I'm taking down.
Oh, dear.
They were just,
kind of just watching those things?
Yeah, I keep an eye on them.
Yeah, jeez. Well, yeah, I think not exactly a great day, but I think the weekend gets a little better. So,
yeah.
Actually, I was thinking about that driving in. You have played every sort of venue that's out there: bars, clubs, arenas, festivals. What's the worst?
Concert halls, coffee shops, living rooms.
I love that you kept going with this. Living rooms, yes, that's right. Those are kind of big now. Those living room concerts.
Yeah, living room concerts are big.
Yeah. What's the worst weather you ever played in?
The worst weather I have ever played in? That's a good question. Well, I used to play up in the mountains, in the ski areas years ago, and I crave the snow because I'm a skier. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it was bad weather, but sometimes we would just sort of slip in under the wire.
Yeah. Yeah, because some of those festivals, they're going to keep you safe, but it's usually rain or shine events.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. I don't. Playing outside, I think it's the heat. That's but the elements is not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Unless we're not covered.
That's true.
But that's usually in the contract.
Usually the band is protected. Yeah. Expensive instruments up there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually saw you did a festival up across the border, didn't you? Up in Canada?
I did in Canada. Yeah. It was the Cavendish Beach Festival. It was a country festival.
That seemed like a cool venue.
That was very good. Yeah, that was a blast. And mostly country artists. Yeah. Rascal Flatts and all those, and we slipped ourselves in there.
Yeah. I wouldn't call you country, but you certainly can be. What's the? Do you try to tailor your set list a little bit in that way? Just do your thing.
I go in and out of doing different things. I'm capable of playing most styles of music, but what I'm comfortable in is American roots. Yeah. And as a fiddler, I play Acadian, French, Celt, Quebecois fiddle. Okay. And American fiddle.
All right. So that translates well to those festivals then, huh?
Yeah, it does.
I've been asking this a lot lately because I feel like festivals have kind of exploded around here. I feel like every weekend there seems to be an option to go to a festival. Yeah. Usually some good gets too. You can usually see some really good shows. But I wonder if the artist enjoys playing the festival, because I always say it seems like there's some pluses. You could get some new fan base, some people that aren't necessarily there to see you. Yep. But it also seems like it's kind of like, okay, you're on and off. Get in there for your hour, get off. Next band's up.
Yeah, festivals are a blast.
You do love them, okay?
Yeah, I do. I've just started playing out. I regrouped with new members of Crazy Maggie. Yeah. And we played up in Ouellette at the Ouellette Fest 2 weeks ago. We tried that out. Yep. And it was very successful. So we'll be setting ourselves up for the festival circuit next year. Cool. Nationwide.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. And, by the way, everybody I talk to, every single musician I've ever had in here, and we kind of talk about, local musicians and people that come on the show here fairly regularly, which you fall into that category. Every single person person, first of all, they all know you, and second of all, they all go, great guy, great musician.
Oh,
every one of them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, very tough to find people to say a bad word about you.
There might be a few out there.
Yeah, okay, I'll keep trying. But anyways, I thought it was. That always strikes me when people that you tend to run into those answers, you know.
Yeah.
But so here we are. We have the Crazy Maggie music video that you've released.
Yeah, Waking Sleeping Maggie.
Yeah, it's unbelievably produced.
It is. Me and my partner Lisa did the video shoot. Dave Habib. He's also one of the cinematographers from Harvard.
Yeah.
He did some shooting for us, and it was a duet between myself and Nashville spiritual soul singer Odessa Settles.
Yes,
was the person that I sang this with.
Yeah. It seems like from that song. I mean, you can only tell so much from one song, and I don't know. Maybe you guys are just faking it, but it seems like you guys have great chemistry.
We do.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I brought in a new song between that Odessa and I are working on. So a lot of that's unfinished stuff that I gave you.
Oh wow!
But Odessa is an amazing singer. Her family is quite famous in the Nashville area, the Settles connection, and she travels all over the world.
Yeah. And
I was really, really fortunate to hook up with her, and we've got this little thing going. We've got a couple projects.
Nice.
And she's also appeared in my developing TV series as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Big, powerful voice there.
Oh yeah.
That must be kind of unique to work with somebody like that who can really own a room.
Oh yeah,
by herself.
own a room and put me back on my heels. Got to step up to this.
I guess, is there an aspect of trying to raise it, or do you almost have to just kind of like play off her a little bit?
Well, I'm a good observer.
Yes.
So if I am. For some reason, in the past year or two, I am doing projects with a lot of experienced pros from all over the world.
That's because you're an experienced pro, right?
Well, you hang out in the hood all the time, and all
right.
of a sudden you got someone from the UK who wants to do a record with you.
Yeah.
And it's humbling in a lot of ways, but it also ups your game.
Yeah, I bet it does. Now, usually every time you've been in here before, I think you've had the guitar. I look behind you here, and the fiddle's in the house.
Brought my fiddle.
Oh, this is the taste of the month here.
I haven't been practicing. I've been twisting knobs like you.
Is it even tuned? No.
Yeah, it's tuned.
Tuned because we care. I heard a musician recently say that. We tune because we care. I like that. They were stalling.
Yeah, no noise pollution here.
That's right. Well, that's good. So what's the I mean, you can play. How many instruments do you actually play?
I haven't counted.
It's a lot of instruments.
I play the guitar, all styles, electric and acoustic and slide and folk, rock, jazz, and bluegrass, Celtic. It doesn't matter. And I'm a bassist.
Yeah.
So I play all styles of bass, and I'm also play stand-up bass.
Yeah.
And I'm working on my bow work with that, and I play fiddle. What else? Mandolin. Dobro, steel guitar, banjo. I'm a terrible harmonica player, and I can do keyboard. I'm not a great keyboard player, but I end up doing a lot of it in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a specific guitar? A lot of people do like to write on like keyboards and pianos, write music. Do you find yourself going to that when you're writing songs? Or
the thing is, when I write songs these days, I am kind of prolific melodically.
Yeah.
So if you wanted me to write a song or a tune, I could do it for you right now.
Okay.
And
ready, go. No, just
I'll do it. But so the music's easy.
Yeah.
Because I've composed for a lot of different things, for television shows, for actually for some movie parts, and but it's the lyrics. So I write actually with my keyboard when I write lyrics.
Okay.
These days.
All right.
So I'm just collecting lyrics, and I write with my partner Lisa, he helps me a lot.
Yeah.
So I then I say, well, this will work with this, and with this piece of music that I've always written, because I'm fast with the music.
Gotcha. Well, that's interesting. What do you think it is about the keys that make people want to write so much? Is it just
the piano?
Yeah.
Well, it's easy, just blocking it out.
Yeah.
So you get different sounds, and just by moving the fingers around.
Huh.
And if you have some chord structure, then it's just you're padding those chords. You can hum along with it.
Yeah. It just kind of comes together. There you go.
Yeah.
How about that? What's the you doing a lot of writing these days?
I do. I write every day.
Every day.
Every single day.
Like a song every day, or just kind of ideas?
No, I'm just constantly coming up with concepts, musical concepts, and I'm approaching a lot of songs because there's a lot to write about.
Right.
And so I don't like sit down and write a song.
Yeah.
I have them going all the time. And I really don't finish them until I get them in the studio. Because I start hearing it back to me.
Yep.
And with my clients that I produce, I say the same thing. Don't get locked into it, and that story. And usually say, okay, well, I like the way it is. I go, that's great. Do it that way. Then they hear it back and go, oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got to make some changes.
Yeah,
so
first takes on those things usually aren't the way they finish, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's an evolutionary process, and if you have a creative studio to work in, then that process makes it easier.
Yeah.
And you can always go back to what you did. You just go back to a file and just pull it up or whatever. But
yeah.
I
have noticed. I think maybe it's being Facebook friends with you now or whatever. But I have noticed that it seems like you're kind of like a good ringleader when it comes to bringing in friends and bringing in other musicians. And you know what? Let's get together and try this. I got this person coming into town this weekend. Are they all coming to your house? Is there a studio in the house? Are you cooking dinner every night? What's the deal here?
Well, I do have a studio. It's in I used to have a 3-car garage, and it's 2 floors and it's 2,700 square feet, and it's all set up with great stuff and microphones, and everything's there for me.
Yeah,
my instruments and everything. And a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now is like I'm working with a children's artist in Washington, Bellingham, Washington. Her name is Dana Cohenor, and I started working on her new project this past month, and she hasn't even showed up yet. So I set her up with a little studio in her house, and professional studio, small setup, didn't cost much money, and she's a great musician, and she's already done a bunch of albums. She's an award winner and the whole deal. Yeah. And she asked me to come on board with her if I would, and so she's sending me songs, and I set them up for her with click tracks, and then I sent them back, and she's learned how to record in her little studio, and she sends me back the files, and I overdubbed to those files. And just last week I brought in Dave Maddox. We did two days of drum sessions for my clients.
Oh, wow.
And it was awesome. and he laid down tracks to her templates.
Wow.
And I sent it back to her, and so we're going bouncing files back and forth. She will come out in November or December to do her vocal overdubs, and we're going to fine tune the lyrics and a lot of the parts of the songs.
That is such a difference from 20 years ago in the music industry, right? I mean, that's got to be one of the biggest changes.
Yeah.
The ability to do that.
I used to sit in my studio, actually it was probably 23 years ago when I was still tape. I went totally digital in 2002.
Yeah.
So prior to that, it was big machines, tape, and if you wanted something, you sent out your reel-to-reel,
right,
and waited.
So the kids have no idea what you're talking about right now.
They have no idea how easy it is,
Yeah.
But it is easy to put stuff out, but I'm finding it interesting. There's so much stuff to wade through.
Yeah.
I'm in the Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, and they just purged a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because of the access to recording equipment. And what they want to have in the Academy are professionals.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of folks that came in, I got a song on iTunes, so I should come in. And they let them all in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it just got kind of messy, and, I've got my... I'm a part-time musician, and doing stuff with my laptop.
Yeah.
And it feels good to be back working with professionals that really care about what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And not just sampling.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, so many musicians right now, they have the voice altering, whatever that is, a lot of this new music. And, and I mean, that can be effective, I guess, in its own way. But sometimes, I mean, there's so much of that. It's like, whatever happened to just plugging in and going,
Yeah,
it's like that whole live feel, like, where is that?
Well, that's what happened. A lot of people have access to these tools, and they're pulling stuff off the internet, lo-fi stuff, whereas... I record a 2496, and you're getting lo-fi. That's an MP3, and it's probably down there about, 8-bit.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts my ears.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And that's not even just the trained ear. I mean, I do think people realize that that's not greatly done.
And that's and here's the thing. I'm open to it all because I believe in the creative process and allowing that to happen. But if we don't get high quality recordings, then people get used to downgraded quality.
Yeah.
And your ears get tuned to that, so that becomes accepted.
Yeah.
And
you don't want that to be accepted.
Well, I think it's great for getting ideas, you know, and a lot of the young ears are tuned into that. You know, but in my studio, it's a capture studio.
Yeah.
I'm using nice microphones. All my rooms are time aligned, and I get great drum sounds, great acoustic guitar sounds, electric guitar, strings.
Yeah.
You know, big bass, and you know, so it's actually, you go out there and you move that microphone just an inch.
Yeah.
And it changes everything.
Yeah, that's right. What a feeling that is when that pays off.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it reminds me of the. I was never a big person into this for numerous reasons, mostly because it gave my computer viruses, I remember. But remember like the Napster days when that came around?
Oh, yeah.
And that was like the epitome of like everything that was wrong, because you had like, you'd download a song and it was like not like the real song, and it was in the less, you know, bad quality. And maybe it was some live version or something from whenever. And, you know, if I was an artist, I would have been losing my mind. Like, why is that out there? And
EMI lost 500,000 employees as a result of Napster.
Is that right? That many?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Worldwide. Yeah. So that's what happened. And now we're dealing with, I'm a district advocate for the Grammy Academy. And I just met at Moulton's office, and we did this all over the country. And we're working to secure the Music Modernization Act, which was one of the only bipartisan things that went through the House and Congress.
Yeah.
And then we got that all settled so that people, because back to Spotify, who's streaming music, and it's a great tool for promotion, but you know, no one's selling CDs more at the shows. So all of a sudden, you know, when I used to do a show with Crazy Maggie, if I did a festival, I'll sell $1,000 worth of CDs.
Yeah, go sit down, maybe meet a few people.
Now they go, no, I got you on Spotify right here for nothing, $10 a month, you know. And so what happened is that Spotify agreed to the Music Modernization Act, which brought almost a 50% raise to the songwriters and the artists. And as soon as that was done, they came back and sued again, and they're fighting it.
Yeah.
So
it's going to get messy.
I don't think it's going to get messy. You know, I think that eventually we will get what we need, as long as our lawmakers support creative.
Is that the key to this? You need the support from what? Yeah.
Yes. So, and it was a great meeting I had with Isis Patterson at Moulton's office 2 weeks ago, and Bill Wynn, another gentleman, and another guy flew out from L.A., Andrew Gould, and we had a good discussion. But there was only 2 of us in Massachusetts doing this.
Really?
And if you went to New York, I'm in the New York chapter. Yeah. But if you went to any other place, they had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people there.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So interesting. And that's Congressman South Moulton. Did he? What makes him so invested? Did you have to teach him all this stuff, or did he kind of know about it?
Well, hopefully will support the full-scale Music Modernization Act.
Yeah.
And he hasn't voted yet on anything. Because he's new.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they've asked us some questions, and I'm waiting to get some answers from the lawyer in my chapter.
That's good. And he's been busy over the last few months, too.
He's been busy. Yeah.
making some national names for himself. But anyways, again, we're joined here by EJ Ouellette. We've kind of covered all sorts of ground already, EJ. How about that?
We have.
Well. And one thing I want to talk about before we get to some music. You are in the process, I don't know how long it's been, but the Grammy vote here. You have a Grammy voting.
Yeah, I'm a voter in the Recording Academy, also known as the Grammy Academy.
Yeah.
And so we listen to people's music and we vote.
Tiring process, right?
I have been listening for almost 3 months.
Almost nonstop.
Almost nonstop. What is really nice is the purge that they've had, is that I'm getting a lot of good music. Yeah. You know, so I'm not getting a lot of stuff that just shows up. You know. It's nice. Yeah.
You feel like you probably have to. You got to give this song, this person, this artist their time of day, because if you don't, you're not doing them justice, right?
That's exactly right. And the thing is that if it's all good, you've got a lot of listening to do. Yeah. And you got to make those critical decisions on what works for you and what you think. Yeah. I take in songwriting, I take in production quality, I take in the sonic ability, I take in the messages that they're giving. Yep. And
that's going to be a lot of pressure, because music is not this You know, it's not like there's 100 questions on the test and you got 89 of them or 90 of them right. You know, there's judgment calls.
That's right.
You know, so that makes it's going to add some pressure in a way.
I can hear something in the first 5 seconds and know if it's good work.
Can you really?
Yeah, I can. You know, first 5 seconds of each song.
Wow.
I can tell right away.
Really?
You know, and if it's compelling, I'll go deeper on it.
Yeah.
And there's been less of that lately. So, okay, I'm going to get sucked in on this. And the pressure comes from myself. Because when I'm at a critical point where I want to vote for someone, I've got 2 people for that one spot, and I'm going, oh my God. And, and it's a community, and a lot of us, care for each other, and we become friends. And that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
Because you can't allow, record sales are, you can't, if it's a million hit platinum, that can affect your decision making. You have to make it based on the quality of the recording,
right,
and the quality of the writing. So, and you can't base it on friendships. I'm going to vote for you. You can't do that. That's quid pro quo. That's in the news lately. Can't do that.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
So I keep my cards mostly to my chest.
Yeah.
Close to my chest when I vote.
Like an umpire in baseball. Just balls and strikes.
That's
right?
it, man. Exactly.
Well, you got the fiddle with you here, EJ. What do you think? You want to pick it up and give it a go and give people a little taste here? That is a beautiful. I should have taken a picture of it before you took it out.
This was made in 18.
Oh my goodness.
76 by a German gentleman here in America. It's an American-made German violin, and it's one of my best friends.
That is a beautiful instrument right there.
Yeah, and I use this when I perform and when I record, and I've broken the top off of it a couple times. My repair guy says, EJ, is this a contact sport with you? So I got a crack right there. I got that crack at the Blue Ocean playing and opening a show right there.
Oh yes, every crack has a story there. Huh?
It went down and went ping, and I went, oh.
It wasn't a rock star slam the fiddle move. Right?
No, but it is a contact sport. I have hurt myself on stage. I tore my Achilles tendon on the Firehouse stage.
No.
I did a flying jump with my fiddle and came down on my left foot, and it went pop.
Oh, what year was that?
This was in 2014.
Oh man!
I did prolotherapy with a good friend of mine, a doctor, and she fixed it. No surgery.
Have you taken the flying fiddle out of your repertoire now? Or?
Well, I'm just be careful. I noticed that my left foot has more callus on it than my right foot from banging my foot.
Yeah.
So
a lot of foot tapping over the years.
Yep, a lot of foot tapping, and I think that was part of it. See, what should I play?
Very nice. Beautiful.
Thank you. I'm just getting warmed up.
That is unbelievable. That thing sounds great, man.
Thank you.
Excellent. I take it when you bring that thing to a party, it's going to be a fun party.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't have.
I play the devil's music.
There you go. That is right. I've heard that. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
That's a wild ride there.
Thank you.
Very nice.
My first tune of the day.
There you go. Just getting warmed up. You said
this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my whole life is learn this thing.
It looks like a difficult instrument to play.
God,
You know.
Yeah, it's a dedication.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes with the, you're the master. Well, you're master.
You know, I can pick up my guitar anytime, do anything. I was gonna say any time.
You could read a book while playing the guitar.
The
right?
fiddle, I have to go hide before I go play. Really, I have to go practice, get warmed up.
Man, well, that's it looks like a lot of work. You foot tapping. I understand why you got calluses.
Yeah, I'm being easy when I left foot.
Doctor's orders.
Oh man,
that is too funny. Have you ever been tempted to walk around town with that thing and pop into shops and?
Actually, I had a little residency with my band Crazy Maggie down at Loretta when it was a small place.
Yep.
And we set up with one speaker right near the door. The whole band would come in.
Oh yeah.
And I was wireless, so I could walk down the street and then back, go get people, bring them in.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, that was a fun place to play.
I've heard stories of that place. There's a lot of good live music around, but I do feel like I bet you would like to see even more, right? I mean, is there I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I've been here most of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I was part of the Newburyport musician artist thing that they did at the Firehouse 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was all the people that had right from the old timers.
Yeah.
And it was history. And I got to play in the house band on the Firehouse stage and everything.
Yeah.
And that's when there were less rules. Now it's become somewhat of a bedroom community, and I think they want to shut the town down at 10. You know?
Oh, you think it's more of a?
I think it's.
Gotcha.
I think it's more of that, than
which puts a burden on the bar owners and
which puts I mean you have the brew companies outside
but they
keep the riffraff out of town.
They do. They are isolated, those places. They're pretty cool places, but
they are.
And even they'll start at 4 or 5 p.m. some nights.
That's right.
So it's more of an early side.
That's right. So what I'm doing with Crazy Maggie now, I have a good friend of mine. Stanley Chu, I used to play with him 30 years ago. He's in the band called Lunch at the Dump, a great bluegrass band. And Ray Himman from up in New Hampshire is on bass. He plays big bass and electric bass. And Jamie Zaccato from Portsmouth on drums. And Steve Baker, who lives in Amesbury, he's the sax player and percussionist. And I've regrouped with those guys, and we're focusing on wineries and barn dances.
Wow, yeah.
That's it. We did one in Haverhill at the Willow Springs last month, and it was packed.
That's where that video is on Facebook that you posted, right? That looks like a fun spot.
Well, I had 3 cameras going, so we got this, so we're putting together a promo package for that, and I'm going to focus just on wineries.
When I first pulled it up, I thought it was a wedding because everybody was so happy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that, I'm also have my songwriting career and singing songwriting career, but I just want to play dance music for the time being because I think people need to have some more fun right now, and it's a good diversion, and the fiddle music is a lot of fun to dance to.
It is,
and it works. It tickles.
It does. I mean, I know you can. I get you can go dark with a fiddle, right?
You can go dark.
It's a part of that. It starts to. There's a roller coaster there for a little bit.
You can go dark.
Yeah. Show us. There it is.
Oh yeah.
It was a Game of Thrones-esque there, right? That is actually, we were actually talking too. Speaking of fiddle, the White Top Mountain Band in town this week. I know you're a big fan.
Yep.
And we had a big show on it on Tuesday, kind of getting people ready for it. But have you seen them before?
I've been aware of them. I've never seen them before, and I know this is going to be a great show. Yeah. So, and old-timey music is different than bluegrass. Yeah. That's dance music. So they're also going to have a clogging teach. The singer is a clogger. She's going to teach clogging prior to the show.
I know, I heard that.
And so that's what that's all about. So it's old-timey music is a lot of people confuse that with bluegrass. It's not. It's I guess bluegrass has its roots in it, but it's more of a dance style.
Gotcha. And that's that's Saturday night, 8:00 again, the White Mountain Band. So get over there, folks, if you can. That's a fun little, well, it's a fun big band, actually. I think there are at least 6 pieces right now, but coming to Newburyport, so that'll be a fun take.
That'd be a blast.
Yeah. So for you, what's the mindset when you go into a show playing the fiddle? Is it a little bit different than frontman guitar singing?
Well, I am singing somewhat, but it's a blast.
Yeah,
it
feels like it.
Well, I know, and because as soon as I start playing, I'm seeing smiles.
Yeah,
and that's really what I want to connect on. If I want to get people dark, I could do that with some of my songs. But
I'm be in a certain mood.
I'm choosing joy at this time.
There you go.
To do that. That doesn't mean I don't. I'm not. It doesn't mean I'm politically inactive.
That's funny. It is a great instrument though, and I mean, every time I go to see a band that has a fiddle, I feel like I always leave with at least it was that was a cool live band. I enjoyed the show. Even if I don't end up being in love with the music for the rest of the time, I always think, you know what, the fiddle live music brought so much to the band.
It does.
I don't know why.
It does. And I enjoy playing it on other people's music too.
Yeah.
So I'm getting, people are sending me their files and I play to their records in my studio when I send it out.
Yeah.
So it's, I've got 2 mics set up and I got a foot pedal punches me in, and I said, and so it's a lot of fun.
It's cool because I mean, I've always, I grew up listening to all the old folk music guys.
Oh, really?
And, you get I love just a guy sitting around playing a guitar and doing all those songs.
Sure.
But the fiddle to it.
Now
you got something different.
Oh yeah, it's totally different. And I approach it like a guitar player because I know how to back up singers with it. You know what I mean? I don't want to get in the way.
Yeah.
So there's the performance part of it where you're playing fiddle tunes.
Yep.
And also you share those melodies with anybody else in the band. When they're playing melody, you play backup fiddle. Second fiddle.
Yes.
Or if you're playing to someone who's singing, you don't play the melody. You have to play supportive, second fiddle and under the radar.
Right.
And you come out in between the phrases and the lyrics.
You get different joy out of playing all those different things.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I bet you do.
I can't do something too long.
Yeah.
There's one thing.
Yeah. On to the next.
On to the next.
Do you ever? This is probably the most amateur question you've ever heard, right? I'm a very simple guitar player, but I'm curious. Do you ever mix these things up? You know what? You're playing this thing. Wait a minute. That's not. That's a wrong instrument.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
because I've added ukulele to my thing, right? And ukulele has 4 strings, and this has 4 strings.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I invert the tuning.
Yeah.
When I'm doing something. Wait a minute. What instrument am I playing?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I can imagine that would be a real problem.
I just have to be mindful of it. You know, it's a sober experience.
Yeah. Man, a little more coffee. Okay, we got this instrument today.
I know. That's a good question, though.
I'm glad it is. I wasn't sure.
Okay, I'm playing banjo today.
Oh, that's too funny. Again, we're joined here by EJ Ouellette, an unbelievable musician, bringing the fiddle in here today. I don't know how many times it's been, EJ, for you on the show, but
I think it's my 3rd time.
3rd time?
Yeah.
It actually feels like more. But,
I should bring in my band next time.
Sure.
Bring in Crazy Maggie.
You know me. I feel.
We'll take over the whole station.
I would love to have Crazy Maggie in.
Oh man.
You name the date.
Okay.
We'll do it. Maybe a holiday sort of thing.
That'd be great.
All right.
I'll make sure.
That'll get people.
It'll be all acoustic. We don't plug in nothing. We just come in and play.
I would love that. That's good. I was tempted to. I wanted to call an audience after I heard you start playing that last song. We needed more clapping in here. So.
Oh man, yeah. Crazy Maggie does not have any electrical instruments other than electric bass.
Really?
It's all acoustic, but it drives like a rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Check them out too, by the way, folks, because I've had the lucky spoils of you posting some of it on Facebook. And I was just fell on my lap, and I said, that is cool stuff.
On Spotify, it's Rock the Bow 5.0, EJ Ouellette and Crazy Maggie.
There you go.
And then you have my other album, Conjure Man.
Yes.
It's on Spotify.
That's gotten some really great praise.
That has.
What exactly? Have you won? You've won awards for that too, haven't you?
I won the Cluzine Award. It was international.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
International Magazine Award.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. On Waking Sleeping Maggie.
Oh, okay, that was from Sleeping Maggie. Gotcha.
And I was the music on Conjure Man is the music that's on my TV pilot that we're building and developing. The unfortunate thing is the album came out first, and we're still working on the pilot.
Well,
we're writing.
Happens that way sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep going?
Yeah, sure.
You got that thing poised and ready in the left hand.
You want to? Can you play one of my artists?
Yep. You know what? Here, why don't you play a little more? I'll get this set up just because I have to do a couple things.
The first two are good. Okay. I've got two local guys.
Cool. I will make sure we do that.
So let's see. What do you want from me?
Beautiful. Very nice.
The Oot Pick Waltz.
Is that right? Wow.
It's an Inuit tune.
Okay. That looked
indigenous.
That looked so strenuous to play. That's
well, I only made it look that way the first time around. I haven't played in a while.
I mean, it is. It's fun to watch you play.
It's a blast,
especially not knowing
because you can see how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Draw the bow across the strings, and you got sounds.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wanted to check out real quickly while you're still here, because I promised you I'd get you out of here at a reasonable time. You brought some artists with us.
Yep. The first one is Bobby Earl Linscott.
Did you want tracks 1 and 2? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Let me pull that up here. Country record, you said?
Yeah.
When it's over, drop me off so I don't go out and get sloshed. 'Cause the coffee there, man, it just ain't strong enough.
Speaking of coffee, weren't we just talking about coffee?
Yeah, that's right.
So this is cool.
That's Bobby Earl Linscott from Salisbury.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And he's a local artist, but he's got major league tendencies. So I'm producing a full album for him, and that is we're going to start shooting the video for that one soon. It's called "Plug in a Jug."
Is that
it's not released yet?
Is that a line you use often? Local artists with major
league ambitions, talent.
So pick me up, take me down to that sober meeting downtown, where the coffee is hot and for $1, well, I don't have to be alone. And when it's over,
Tour locally?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're doing this record, and we're going to probably put a band behind him and do some shows.
Cool. That must get you excited too. Is there anything better than putting together a record and then going out and touring behind it?
Oh, it's a blast.
Yeah.
It's like, it beats having a day job.
Yeah, that's great.
So the next one on that CD is a Salisbury gentleman, 21-year-old Keith Crocker. and we're doing an album with him.
Okay.
And he's playing around.
What was it again? Keith Crocker?
Keith Crocker.
Okay.
And this song is called Fly. And none of this is released yet, so you get the first.
It's very kind of you.
Thought we had something beautiful and you threw it all away. But something more than a magical rise to eternity.
He's got a voice.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. It's a little different song than we just listened to.
And now we look back on the moments spent together, and I'm trapped in our history. I don't want to forget all things you did for me. In my darkest times, got me back up on my feet again. Giving me the strength I need to fly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like, who does he sound like? He's influenced by somebody.
He's got a lot of influences.
Yeah.
And we're working on getting him his sound.
Yeah.
We've got 7 songs that we're working on right now. And
what do you always say? Because I bet that's something if I were to say that to an artist, I bet they say that's cool, but I also want to be careful of that, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And I have vocal techniques to help them find their own voice.
Yeah.
As well.
That's probably not the easiest thing to do when you're playing not for the first time, but if you're a younger artist who's trying to.
Yeah, but if they understand how their voice works, then they can find themselves in it rather than just copying. And that's the nice thing about original music, because there's no one to copy.
Yeah,
it's you.
It is.
In my darkest times, got me back up on my feet again. Giving me the strength I need to fly.
Dave Maddox is on drums on both those cuts. And then it's just me and Keith playing instruments.
Dave is obviously such a well-known name around here. What's the you gotta just love playing with a guy back there who just keeps the train rolling like that.
I said, Dave, how'd you get your green card? He goes, Sir Paul. Help me out.
Is that right? That's a great answer.
You mean you're not illegal?
Man, that's great. But I've talked to many musicians, and if the drummer's just not a little bit off or having an off night, it can ruin a night, can't it?
Yeah, no, he is. I went to see him. He and I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway,
it's a story from the road.
Yeah, story from the road, and they were just so unbelievable. It's just so good.
This is what happens. You try to forget the. Sometimes I like to ask musicians what the horror stories are, and sometimes you can just see the face drop. There's one I don't even want to. We won't get into that today with you.
His band is amazing. It's just great. The next cut on that, I think it's a new.
Keep rolling right in a row.
Yeah,
right?
sure. We'll go right through. We have time. Wait.
There we go. Track 3. Yep.
Don't remember what this is, but
here you go. I'll bring it right up for you.
Oh yeah, this is Mon Pépé's Fiddle. It's my next record.
It's not that fiddle, is it?
This fiddle right here.
It's that fiddle right there?
Yep. Grammy-winning producer Scott Billing is playing harmonica.
Play that one in a barn, right?
Yep. Play it on a dance floor. I'm very fortunate to have really good musicians hanging around me.
Yes.
It's more than half the battle.
When you guys are all so talented, though, it must be just so great, the creative process, to play off each other and feed off each other and learn from each other. I'm sure you're still learning along the way, right?
Well, the thing is about talent is that a lot of people have talent, whether they're disciplined or not. That's another story. Yeah. So the talent really has to be nurtured. Yeah. And there's blood, sweat, and tears in music. Yeah. You can't just say, oh, I got a nice little song here. It's going to make me famous. It ain't going to work. Yeah. You really have to develop your skills. Yeah. And that's what's nice about playing with these guys. They all know what's going on, Yeah. And that rhythm section is just so dead on.
It reminds me, I was reading an article about Prince once, and he always got frustrated with Michael Jackson comparisons.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would always be people talking about the magic of Michael Jackson, and he would say, my stuff's not magic. Mine's structure.
Right.
There's no magic trick here. And I always thought that was an interesting line.
That is a good line.
Yeah.
There's no magic. It's really building your music.
Yeah.
Bring
it back up one more time.
That's Jake Kepper on banjo from Vermont.
When I play this, does this bring you back to another like place, where it is where you recorded it or where you guys first had the idea to?
Well, I'm in the process of recording this now.
Oh, you're doing it right now?
That's not done.
Oh, that's right. This is the first look.
This is just giving you.
Keep forgetting how spoiled I am.
I'm giving
here.
you a little bit of
It's unbelievable.
a peek.
These are all not done.
They're all. 3 of them are done, and my songs aren't finished. I'm the last one to get my stuff finished in my studio.
I feel odd even talking over these things.
So I call it Norista music, so it's
Norista.
Regional roots.
Okay.
That's what it is,
During a borderline nor'easter.
That's right. There's a Norista coming. That's the working title of the album, too. Norista.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, very cool.
The next song is an artist development client of mine, Dove. I taught her how to sing. So
this must be rewarding.
We wrote this song together. It's a bluegrass tune.
All right.
A man, he is so fine. Sometimes I can't believe my luck. Always shows me a real good time. Drives me home when I'm drunk.
I'm the band.
I got a man that's very, very good. I got a man that's very, very good. He's the best in all the wood. I'd go for you if I could.
So like working with your students, is that a different experience?
Well, she wanted someone else to sing it, and I said, no, you have to sing this. This is you.
Yeah.
And, so we've been working on her voice and getting that together.
If I was your student and I got the okay to record with you, first of all, I would feel the pressure. And second of all, I'd be very honored. That
Actually,
would be
there's no pressure.
No pressure?
None.
None?
None whatsoever.
You sure?
Nope. Nope, unless you don't do your work. And then it's going to cost you a lot of money for nothing.
I already feel the pressure.
Because I am not cheap.
So no pressure. All right. So is that the first thing you tell people?
Yeah, you got to do your work. Mandolin.
Very cool. Your studios again?
Oh, I'm sorry?
Are you going to be doing this in your studios, all these projects?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got to go on.
Is there any ever reason to leave your studio?
I've got 6 albums going. I hardly ever get out of there. Play a gig.
Please send food.
Get me out of here. I got this dangerous commute right to my studio, I get my coffee. I get up, I do my yoga.
Yeah.
And I go and I turn on my studio, give the place a blessing, and I go to work.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
Did you have one more you wanted to get to?
I have one more. This is a duet that I'm working on with Odessa, and Scott Billington's producing it.
All sounds great.
Thank you.
I've seen so much hurt in this world. Weighs my shoulder and bows my head. Worry and trouble abound all around. Get me back to my solid ground.
But there's so much heart in the world.
I told you they had chemistry.
Right?
Send my spirit high.
I see Miri Gauthier posters. Odessa sang on her last record.
Soothes my weary mind. Peace flows.
Let peace grow.
Is that you guys on the harmonies too?
That's Scott and Lisa.
Oh, okay.
Lisa O'Donnell,
Gotcha.
my co-writer.
You ever do that? You ever do EJ on EJ harmonies?
All the time.
All the time, yeah. That's great. All right, good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited for that, man. Thanks for the sneak
You
peek.
can have that.
All right. I won't put it in the system yet until it's officially released.
Okay.
Unless you
All
want me to.
You can play it once in a while.
All
It's
right.
all copywritten. I don't have a problem with it. But
Okay.
and it's it's not where I want it yet, but I'm happy with it.
All right.
As long as no one's making money off it.
We'll put it in there, and then when you get me anything if you want it out and you want to replace it, then we'll do that too.
That's
But
all
that
right.
sounds great
I
to
will
me,
replace it. I'll let you know.
man. Sounds good. Well, EJ, I know I promised I would get you out of here. I know you're a busy man, so I lied to you a little bit. You stayed a little bit late, but it's always a pleasure to see you, man. I also want to thank you for getting us some great artists. A lot of these great artists we've had here on Tuesdays and Thursdays over the last year have been your recommendations, and so we appreciate that very much. It's really helped us kind of get into the music scene and help the show a lot.
I have more.
I'm sure. Like I said, everybody knows you. So
thank you so much for having me.
It's really been a pleasure, man. I appreciate it. Every time we get together, I say we get the band in here during the holidays.
That'd be great.
Around whenever you pick the date, you find a day that works for everybody, and I'll make it happen on this side. So
that's great.
If you're into that, you want to do 30 seconds, take us out. We'll go to a commercial.
Sure.
EJ Ouellette, everybody, folks, unbelievable guest, one of our favorites, one of our first musicians we had on the show, going to fiddle us on out of here.